Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host. I'm Between the Lines, broadcasting to you, as you know, from Trinidad and Tobago. Some birds just flew past me a while ago. My goodness, they're just so beautiful. They didn't even say hi when they were passing. And it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day out. It's sunny. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I'm looking at it now and I'm so thankful to be here. I'm thankful to have Charlotte Canyon on with me. We're talking about, what are we talking about today? I have to keep reminding myself what we're talking about today. We're talking about you have to laugh to keep from crying. That's a common phrase that we use, you know, when there are certain situations that you're like, like I say to people, this must be a joke, because because if I were to take it on seriously, I would just go crazy. So it must be a joke. So you have to laugh to keep from crying. And it's not that there's something wrong with crying, because it's very good to release. But we're going to understand a little bit more why Charlotte is going to be talking about you have to laugh to keep from crying. She claims she's 72, but I know she's lying. Okay, I know she's lying. She looks beautiful. She doesn't look anything near 72. And of course, she claims that the camera is making her look good, right? But I know if I see her in real, I know she doesn't look anything near 72. So let me tell you a bit about Charlotte. Originally from Paragould, Arkansas, author and entrepreneur Charlotte Canyon was raised in Dallas, Texas. I was in Texas probably about a year ago. The product of a Catholic mother, I'm Catholic as well, so we have something in common, and a former Marine drill sergeant father. Notice how she describes her father. From the mother came strong Christian values and a love of family. From her father, who lost both parents early, she was bequeathed a kind of survivalist resilience and a nose to the grindstone work ethic. Mrs. Canyon is very active. We're going to call her Charlotte today. In her church, very good, and local community, and has served in various capacities on many boards and associations. A naturally creative and spiritual person, her faith-based writing has resulted in several published stories and poems. Her major work, which is what we're talking about today, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, is a project that has lingered in her mind and heart for many years, and is based on her own personal experiences assisting her parents with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease. Inside, she shares anecdotes and advice to help other parenting parents. Wow, look at that. That's a new term, parenting parents, build and reinforce happy memories by remembering to find humor during an otherwise arduous and often overwhelming end of life journey. We all get there, people. She reminds us all that when our parents are gone, all we have left are memories. This book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, will help ensure that the memories we have of our parents remain cherished ones. Welcome, Charlotte Canyon, to Between the Lines.
Hi, Corinne. How are you?
Oh, I'm fabulous. I am thankful. I am excited to have you on my show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Great. I'm gonna do a little screen share here. Where is my screen share? I'm gonna do a bit of a screen share here of the media kit that you sent to me. I want persons to see, we're going to be discussing around these things. What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to parent your parents? And how does that tie in with the topic that we're talking about? You have to laugh to keep from crying. We have a significant aging population. I don't know the numbers. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. But from observation, we have a significant aging population. And we have to consider as young people, what I notice about young people is that the best word I could come up with is that they're inconsiderate of older folks. And, it's like they just live. I guess when our parents were younger too, they did the same, inconsiderate. I guess it's a phase we all go through. And we're kind of not thinking about when we get older. We just live in the moment, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we don't think what life could bring for us when we look at our aging parents of others, friends, etc. And if we may end up going through that or worse or better, we don't know. But we have to set things in place, prepare ourselves, because how we treat our parents, you know, life is cyclical. When you look at the Lion King, they talk about life is a circle. And what goes around comes around, sometimes tenfold, 100-fold, whether good or bad. Eh?
Yes.
And whatever we do today is going to really determine what happens tomorrow. And tomorrow could be next year, it could be literally tomorrow, it could be whenever, we don't know. We have no control over time. And so we have to be cognizant of the fact that if we are blessed, I always say to people, getting old is not, it's a privilege. You're not obligated to get there. You're not obligated to get there. And it's a privilege to age. You know, some younger people say, oh, you're old and you look so whatever and your face is sagging and look at you. In each one of those wrinkles and sags, there's a story. Yeah, there's something to share. And, you know, it's a privilege to get old. It's a privilege to see things happen over time, and to be able to share that with younger people and even with fellow older folks, people in your age group. And so this question is very deep. What would you do if you had to put your life on hold? I'm talking a lot because it's very significant to me, because a lot of people are complaining. Well, let me not use the word complain, but they have to face this. And sometimes parents have 5 children, 3 children, and it's always one that stays behind to do it, and it's hard. That one child puts their life on hold and the others enjoy. So there's a lot of things are happening, Charlotte. Why is it that one child? Why is it always one that puts their life on hold while the others could move on? Why the others are not chipping in to help? What do you go through as a parent? And what are the benefits, if any, of someone who has put their life on hold to parent their parents? I've said a lot of stuff, Charlotte. I've created a context, and I'm sure I can see you listening and deeply taking it in. I want you to chime in here and put things in perspective for those who may be having this situation or may see themselves leading to this situation. Because my mother is 78 right now. She turned 78 in March this year. And I see her slowing down. It's not the woman that I know her to be in her 30s and you know. And, you know, you're kind of preparing yourself, but you don't know really how to prepare yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't know until whatever hits you, and you just have to deal with it. But all you know is that they're not what they were before. And you're grateful that your faculties are still intact. They're still moving about. I'm thankful for that. You know, the memory, the movements, everything is still there. She's not lying down in bed sick or in a hospital or anything like that. So she's still going strong. But, you know, they're not the same. And we have to recognize they're not the same. So I hand it over to you now, given all the things that I've said, to kind of bring things in perspective and sharing your story in between all of that as to how you got involved parenting your parent and what it has done for you, as well as what it has taken away from you. And are there any lessons to be learned from that? Yeah?
Oh my gosh, you've said so much right there. But the first thing you said was, what's wrong with the kids today because they don't respect their elders? And I think that's the bottom line, is they're not taught respect. For some reason, they think it's entitlement. And what happens, and you also mentioned that, you know, when there's large families, only one steps up. And normally when one steps up, it's a female. 9 out of 10 caregivers are female. And believe it or not, 1 out of every 10 over the age of 65 will develop Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or dementia or one of those, you know, debilitating aging diseases. My mom was probably in her mid-70s before her Alzheimer's started to develop. But let me just back up 15 years ago. My father-in-law lived with us. My husband was an only child, and he developed dementia. At the same time, my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's,
Wow.
and my dad was in the early stages of Parkinson's. So baptism by fire, I became the caregiver. I just did what you had to do. Now, I only have one sibling, but he was a brother, and he lived 3,500 miles away. And he said, "You're doing good, sis." And that's about all the support I got. Once a year, he would come visit. So it became my burden. I literally quit a full-time job because I had to juggle all of these people's, all my parents and my father-in-law. I had to juggle all the things that they needed. Now, my parents still, at the early stages, they still lived in their own home. But with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's in that household, I had to drive a couple hours and care for them. They didn't want to leave their house.
Yeah.
In my book, I share stories of my frustrations, and my book is written with love, respect, patience, and forgiveness. And I have 23 different stories in that book that walk you through each one of those. That tells you about love and how you need to love unconditionally. I have a friend that's a judge, and she has parents that are in their 80s, and they live in 2 separate states, but she's from one of those large Italian families. She drives from Texas to Florida, picks up her parents, and drives to New York. Well, on her road to New York, her dad's telling her she's driving wrong, she's driving too fast, she took the wrong road, all of this stuff. She calls me on the phone because I'm the guru. I've been there. I've done that. So they call me and ask me, "Charlotte, my dad's in the back seat. He's driving me nuts." And I said, "Anna, calm down." I said, "Did you tell your dad he was wrong?" And she says, "Yes." And I said, "Don't tell him he's wrong. You never tell them. They're confused enough in their heads.
Yeah.
You work it." I said, "If your dad says you turned down the wrong road, say, 'Oh my gosh, Dad, you're right. I did. But you know what? It looks like a scenic road. And I heard there's this really neat restaurant up the road. We'll stop for lunch.'" You twist it where they know that they're okay in what they said, but you get what you know is right. Those things happen all the time. And I had to learn them the hard way. When I was going through the journey, I went to bookstores. I went everywhere trying to get all the help I could. And we're talking 15 years ago. There wasn't Alzheimer's groups. There wasn't Parkinson groups. There really was. No one talked about aging because my grandparents died in their 60s.
Yeah.
My parents lived to be in their 90s. People are living longer because medicine is allowing us to do so. I'm not saying whether it's a good thing or not because I have a new bionic knee. I'm gonna be the new Wonder Woman, but living longer. And you asked me earlier, you made the funny about my age. I have 20 grandchildren, so I want to be an example for them. Yes. Well, 18 are grands and 2 are greats, but they're all grandkids.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I want to be an example to them. I want to show them how you live life to the fullest, and you take care of those that you love, and you respect those that you love. And I've got stories in there about respect that, oh my gosh, I wanted to pull my hair out because the respect kind of went into, I had to try my patience. And I have stories about patience that are in my book.
Yeah.
And I have a major story about forgiveness. So my book is, you have to laugh to keep from crying, how to parent your parents. And my book is being called the 101 Parenting Your Parents. It'd be called the Survival Kit. It's the book that everyone needs to read.
Yeah.
I just won an award that you probably don't know about.
Yeah.
The Texas Authors Association voted my book the best self-help book in the state of Texas.
Yay! Congrats!
Yay! 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 Yay!
Congrats.
But I speak everywhere, and I teach people, and they want to come up and hug me because they want to thank me for first saying you're not alone,
Yeah.
and for second sharing my journey, because some of it's not pretty.
Yeah.
Some of it is not something you ever dream of. In fact, in a real world, my parents lived in their own home, My dad's wish was that they would die in their home. I would plan a funeral. I would grieve, and I'd go on with my life.
Yeah.
Now, that's a perfect world. But
Yeah.
guess what? That's not life. And what I share with people is how to learn to play with their seniors again. I teach adult children how to play with seniors. My mom was a gardener. So I would take boxes of dirt and we would plant plants. We might do those week after week after week, and they were the same plants. But she didn't care. She was digging in the dirt again. And there's something nurturing about that. I'm a master gardener. I still go to nursing homes and teach them how to build raised bed container gardens so that they can grow herbs, that the seniors can roll their wheelchairs or walk their walkers up there. They can plant the herbs, they can water the herbs, and then the kitchen uses the herbs to cook, and the seniors see that they're giving back. What happens is we take away their purpose. And when we take away their purpose, we take away their freedom. And I know that they're confused enough in their heads that when you take away someone's freedom, you might as well take away their life.
Yeah, I love that. I'm listening to you, Charlotte, and I'm wondering, and I'm watching you, and I'm sensing your energy, your love coming through. And I'm saying to myself, what type of person does it take to do this type of serving? Because it is serving, and it is serving beyond you, because it's not about you. What type of person does this type of serving? And does it mean that those who don't, that something is wrong with them, that they're mean? Or are they not prepared to, or they don't have that depth of love, or probably they don't have the patience, the understanding, the forgiveness? Because there are things that children and parents go through in their life, and sometimes you think back, oh, my mother didn't whatever, and she never really whatever with me, and and why should I? Or it's not coming from a place of forgiveness and of love. How do we get persons to go beyond that, to see that bigger purpose? You talk about taking away the purpose from an older person, an aged person, especially if you take away their life. Is it that we as younger people don't have a purpose that is bigger than us?
Oh, I think you're exactly right. That's why there's all these shootings in schools. We've taken God out of the world, and that's the problem. I'm going to tell you, I couldn't have done this alone. God was the one that guided me, and God was the one that told me to write my book. My mom died at 93 on January 1st, 2016. Within 6 weeks, I got invited to a writer's seminar. Now, you tell me that's not a God thing. God told me to write this book. Yeah. Within 11 months, I had the book in my hand.
Wow.
And I've been flown to New York to talk about my book. I've been on many interviews like yourself.
Yeah.
I've been on national TV. God's got me on a journey, and I'm going to share this with you because I know, Corinne, you will appreciate this. Every time I walk out on a stage, or even before this interview, I say a prayer, and I say, God, whatever words you want to come out of my mouth, and whoever it's supposed to touch, then that's what I'm about. And I'll be honest with you, there was a radio, and I won't say who they are, but they asked me not to mention God, and I said, you know what? This is not a fit, and I'm not doing your interview. I'm sorry. We need God back in everything. Yeah. We need God. I teach my grandkids, that they can't live without God.
No, you can't. You're alive because of Him. You're existing because of Him. And I love how you say before you go out on stage, you say a prayer and you ask God to allow you to be the instrument to say the things that would impact people's lives. And that's exactly what I do. And when I come on my show, I may not say that type of prayer, but He knows that I am to be used for that instrument every time, because I have recognized my purpose, Charlotte. And I've always said, God, I want in my space, anybody that enters my space must, and I keep saying it, must feel and be impacted by your energy, by your light. That when somebody comes into my space, they must leave better than how they came in. And it happens every time. It doesn't matter if I go in a fast food outlet, a store where I'm shopping, out on the road, I don't care. In a taxi, it doesn't matter. I am impacting people's lives every moment, every single day. And there's so many people around that are carrying so much weight, worry. I mean, I have it too. We all have our challenges. And it makes no sense just stressing and fretting over those when there's so much life. Why take away so much from the gift that God has given you? You know, so I know my purpose, and sometimes you may drift, you may get a bit distracted, but once you have him there, and sometimes he's so silent, you know, Charlotte, that you worry, where did you go? Where did you go? I'm not hearing you, I'm not feeling you, I'm not hearing that connection, and it worries me. And he knows that, you know, he knows, you know, and I mean, he's a parent, he's our parent, you know, so at times when things are silent, you get worried, you know, and you're like, you're not saying anything, talk to me, you know.
That's when he's carrying you.
I know.
That's when he's lifting you.
But you know, in our own human form, we're like,
oh,
I'm not hearing you. Where are you? You know, you're not sensing him. You're not feeling that closeness that you're accustomed feeling. And you're like, you know, it's only after a while you learn, I know that's when he's up to something. You know, he's quiet because he's up to something. He's doing something great. That's when he's close. And you know what reminds me of that? There's this poem about footprints in the sand. I always go back to that. When she was like, where are you? I don't know. You said you're going to be near to me. You're going to be this and whatever. And he reminded her, you saw 2 footprints at one point, and then you just saw 1, because she's like, I only saw 1. That was me carrying you. That's my footprint.
Yes.
I always go back to that poem, Footprints in the Sand. You know, he was carrying her. She saw 1. You know, with our eyes, it's just what we see. We think that is what is. But there's so much more happening. And you know, the trust and faith, Charlotte, it takes a lot, a lot out of you to really trust and have faith. And we rush him. We rush God. We want things to happen fast, you know, in our time, of course, in our time, you know, but he has his own time. It's amazing. I mean, we kind of veered off from what we're talking about, but it still links back, because we're talking about parents and time. And some kids, they're like, why don't my parents just go quickly? You know, I can't take this anymore. And there's nothing wrong with thinking. I think it's only human. It doesn't make you a bad person. You want them to leave the earth fast, but then when they go, you're like, I wish if I could see the person. I wish if I can hear their voice. I wish if, you know, I could have sat down with the person, you know, and you regret the words that you say, you know, and ask for forgiveness, hopefully. But how can someone, you know, I asked before, you sacrificed, you stopped your full-time job, you gave up yourself. Did you regret that? Did you, well, I guess in asking you that now, you would say no. But at the moment, what was going through your mind in terms of what you had to give up? It's just you and your brother. You realize you were the one closest. How did you cope with that? And I asked about benefits as well as what was taken away from you in terms of the change of your lifestyle as a result of the decision you make to dedicate your life to parenting your parent.
You know, being a female, I never thought anything about it. I didn't even know that parenting 3 parents was that unusual. I just did it. And you know, it's just one of the things you don't think about. Now, yes, oh my gosh, yes, there were days I'd go home and I'd cry, you know, oh my gosh. But you know what? I think back of when my mom, you know, when she would spoon feed me.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm spoon feeding her. Yeah. And how she would hold my little hands when I would teeter and totter, and how I would help her. And you know, there's not anything more blessed than the fact that I got to do that with my mama. I got to help her. And I think part of the reason, you know, everything that's happened to me in my life has prepared me for this. Everything in my life, being a child, we start nurturing at a very young age. Either you nurture your little doll or you're given a puppy.
Yeah.
We have that innate nature. Why can't we relay that to people that we love?
If we love them, Charlotte.
Yes. Well, we should love everyone. We don't have to like them, but we have to love them. That's a golden rule.
No, let's touch on that. We don't have to like them, but we have to love them. Don't you have to go through like to get to love? What's going on, Charlotte?
No, God says you have to love everyone. I can love someone and not like what they did. Remember me mentioning that my father was a strong-willed Marine? Well, he did things in his life, I guarantee you, I don't wish on anyone. But I ended up being his caregiver. Yeah. I ended up taking care of him. Anybody that reads my book and reads the forgiveness story, it is a redemption story. I've spoke to many women's groups, and I have women come up to me and they go, "How? Yeah. How did you forgive?"
That's a question. This is the thing. How do you? I had a guest on my show talk about it, and I need to go back and listen to that because it was so deep, the discussion. And if you can go through my YouTube channel and look at it, I think it will be really good for you to listen as well, and probably even share. You shared some really good stuff. But forgiveness is so hard for a lot of people. Forgiveness. Why? I mean,
what's really fun, interesting is ladies come up to me and they go, "You forgave your dad." I've got a sister I haven't spoken to in 12 years. Yeah. And I look at them and I go, "Okay, what caused the issue?" Yeah. Guess what? They can't remember what it was. And I said, more than likely, your sister can't remember what it was either. So both of you need to forgive each other, because if one of you dies, the other one has to carry that burden the rest of their lives.
Oh, geez.
So my encouragement is, it doesn't matter what anyone's done to you. You have to forgive them. I'm not saying, like I say, you can still not like things they did, but you have to forgive, because if they die, you carry that burden. You carry the forgiveness. I thank God every day. 6 weeks before my dad died, he apologized and asked for forgiveness for everything he'd done.
Some people don't even do that, Charlotte. Some people don't.
I know.
Do it.
Thank God that I got that.
Yeah, they go straight out and they're like, "No, I am not saying I'm sorry. I am not asking for forgiveness." And if somebody's on their deathbed, their last breath, and they don't do it, I think the onus is on you, the person that's living, to say,
"Lean down and say, I forgive you."
Yeah. I forgive you. You do the right thing. You do the right thing and release them. If they don't want to
we sound like a sermon.
Yeah. If they don't want to do it, you do it. You do it and release them, because you need to stay on and carry on. Release them for you, not necessarily for their benefit, but for you. You say, "I forgive you."
Right.
Because at that moment, you don't know what may be going through their mind. What may be, they're struggling to say, they find it so hard, and it's like pride. They still have that little bit of pride they're trying to hold on to, and it's like, so you remaining here on earth, you need to be able to say, "I forgive you," and they may go out with a smile on their face. They may feel free. They may feel free. And
I've had hospice ladies share with me, because they sit with the dying. And I've had them share with me that they know when someone's dying, they can know by their demeanor and their expressions, and whether they're going peacefully or they're going kicking and screaming. And it's one or the other. There's never an in between.
Yeah.
They're either very peacefully, go to the afterlife, or they're kicking and screaming. And and we know that kicking and screaming can't be good.
I would think
I'm not a judge and I'm not posted, but it's like,
it don't sound good.
it doesn't sound real good.
It doesn't sound good.
You know, my mom went so peaceful, and oh my gosh, it was, you know, I still to this day on her birthday and on Mother's Day, I want to pick up the phone and call her. And I want to give her a hug. You know, when she was here, even though some days with Alzheimer's, she didn't know who I was.
Wow.
I'll have to tell you a funny story. One day, because my mom got so bad, I had to put her in a home, but I went and saw her, you know, every day. And one Sunday, my husband and I went. We always take donuts to the nurses, and we walk into Mom's room, and she mistaken my husband for my dad.
Wow.
And the story just really went awry. I won't go into details, but anyways, basically she was hugging on my husband and loving him, and he loves my mom, but it was like, okay, this is different. Anyway, she said, remember what we did last night? And I go, Mom, you want chocolate? You want some chocolate? Mom, I got chocolate. You can very easily divert them. It's just like children. Role reversals take a total reversal. So I offered her chocolate, and it got her mind off of wherever she was going, because I knew I didn't want to hear that story. And it was not going to be part of my book.
That would have made a very good part in your book. I think you should go back. I think you should go back and try and retrieve that.
But
I would have loved for your husband to see where that went.
Well, you know, that's why my story is called "You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying." Is I try to find the humor in everything, and if you can find that humor, then you're going to feel better, because doctors have proven that we create endorphins when we laugh.
That's
and
right.
That is healing for us. In fact, children that have cancer who laugh and laugh, and they have cured themselves because they have created those endorphins, and they're in a better state, in a better place. And the same thing with our seniors. They need to be in a better place, and you never correct them. You never tell them they're wrong. I kept trying to get in my mother's head, and I'm going, I know she's confused. I know she's confused. So what can I say to her to make her feel calmer? What can I say to her to make her feel better? And 9 out of 10 times, we women are very, very creative, and we can come up with all kinds of things. I would tell Mom her favorite joke, you know, whatever it took. Now, with that being said, yes, there were those few times when there wasn't a whole lot I could do. You know, I kept wondering, is she in pain? You know, what's going on? This is not the norm. But my mom knew me 6 weeks before she died. And this is a cute little story. Same thing, go to the nursing home and hug and kiss and visit. And I go through her clothes and I comb her hair. And, you know, I take care of her like she's my child. And when we're getting ready to leave, we hug and blow kisses as I'm going out the door. And before the door shut, I hear this, Charlotte, get back here. So, boy, you have no idea how fast I ran back to my mother's arms.
Yes.
She knew this was her Charlotte.
Yes.
This was her daughter. Little did I know, 6 weeks later, she would be gone.
Wow. She remembered. Oh, my God. That's a very good memory.
That's a treasured memory. And that's the other thing I try to get people to do is, if you don't have treasured memories of the past, create new ones. And even if you have treasured memories, create new ones. Because that's what will sustain you for the rest of your life, is you created beautiful memories. I have beautiful memories to the day my mom died, to the day my dad died, to the day Pop died. I have good memories. And that's what I want people to have. I want them to create those good memories.
Life is about, Charlotte, creating memories, because it's priceless. It's the thing that when you lie in your bed or you have that quiet moment, it comes back to you and make you laugh. It makes you cry. And cry, not necessarily that it's a bad memory, but cry because it's a good memory.
Oh, it's a happy cry.
Of course, it makes you share things with people. It's like how you're able to share. If you didn't have a memory, you wouldn't be able to share. You know, and even the bad ones, you're able to learn. So there's something coming from whether bad or good.
Something teachable.
Of course, it's teachable. It makes you stronger. It helps you to know it brings perspective to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I wonder, in talking with you, Charlotte, about whether you think your upbringing in a Catholic home, a religious home, a mother who's strong in her faith, family strong in their faith, knowing about serving, loving from the heart and soul, a father who created discipline in you, if that is the reason behind you being the person that you are, compared to probably some others who don't take to that type of teaching and upbringing.
Oh, most definitely. I think, in fact, I believe that most kids, by the time they're age of 5, if they don't have a Christian background, if they don't have God in their life,
yeah,
they've missed out, because the psychologists will say that children by the age of 5 have developed the character and kind of the personality they're going to be.
Wow.
I had a very, very loving mother. I am so sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's fine. It's natural. That's fine. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yet my mom, gave me a compassionate love. I was an only child till I was 9.
Wow.
So I know that I am my mom. That's the other thing, is I watched my mom give. I watched mom take care of neighbors. I watched mom. So it's just part of my nature.
Yeah.
And God and I'm not saying God doesn't reward. He rewards everyone, but he rewarded me. Think about it. I have 5 children and 20 grandchildren.
Wow.
That is a blessing.
I would love to be at your house on Christmas and for the holidays.
28 stockings on the chimney, yeah.
Right? I would love to be at your house. The only way I might be noticed is because I'm probably black, but
oh, I don't know. We have friends that come and go, so
right? That's the only way I might be noticed. I might get lost. Nobody might hear me in that house. Yeah. I'll be like, hello, I'm over here. I'm Charlotte's friend. Because
it's a mess.
Just 20 grandchildren alone takes up the entire house. We're not even talking about you and your husband and the kids. Oh my God. This is
crazy. It's a blessing.
It is a blessing. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Charlotte, you're a blessing. You're a blessing. You're a blessing to me. You're a blessing to others. I hope persons, listen to this and learn from you and reach out to you. And I wanna go to your website. Let me see if I can get to that here quickly.
www.howtoparentyourparents.net.
How to parent your parent.
.net.
Yeah, I have it here. I'm going to share that so that persons can get to you. And of course, your book is available on your website.
It's on the website. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an Amazon bestseller. People like Kindle.
Nice. It's taking a while to come up here. Just give me a sec. And you're a matriarch of 4 generations, I see here.
Yes. Well, great grandchildren.
All right. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can share the screen here. And you have a lovely video. I want to end the show with this video here.
Thank you. I think it's fabulous myself.
Yeah. Ooh, it's taken up my entire screen.
What will you do when your mom loses her memory while your dad is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at the same time? How do you grapple with old age when it strikes your loved ones? Do you have what it takes to return the same love, patience, and care they poured on you since you were a child? Blackheart Books presents You Have to Laugh to Keep From Crying by Charlotte Canyon. This book tells you that taking care of your loved one in their twilight years is an honor and a pleasure not all are able to enjoy. It teaches you that stress will not cloud your ability to give back, and that beautiful memories could still be shared with them with laughter. You Have to Laugh to Keep From Crying by Charlotte Canyon. Grab your copy now.
Beautiful. Let me see if I can get back here. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Let me see. I'm trying to get back into your website here. Oh, okay, great. So let me see where you can get the book. The book is here. And persons can go on Amazon as well, so they can get a copy here. So click on the buy now, or you can click here.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful. It's a lovely cover. I love that. Very tender, loving, hand into hand. I love that. And it shows, look at that. I mean, it just shows the difference.
That's my mother's hands.
I figured as much. I figured as much. Much. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at your youthful hands and hers. So much story in that hand of hers, you know?
Well, there's a story in my book called Hands of Love, and it's a poem I wrote Mom when she was 86, and that's where those hands, that picture came from.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Corrine, thank you, and God bless you for all you do.
Oh yeah. Oh, God bless you for all you do. Thank you so much, Charlotte. I appreciate you. I appreciate the work that you're doing. I appreciate everything. I mean, the work that you're doing for older folks, teaching, speaking about this topic, and enlightening and empowering, especially the younger folks, to understand what age means, because we all get there if we are privileged. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, sweetie. And God bless.
Same to you, my darling.